So some decisions were made. I may have left myself unsupervised. Now I gotta figure out how to use both of them. Oh, wait, what? Uh-oh. Oh, crap. Oh, shit. Hey all, this is John KC0JH, and this is my brand new Yaesu FT-710. So what made me decide on this radio? The reviews I've seen on it, videos I've seen on it. As usual, everything's kind of mixed, but it seems like a lot of people like this one. And I hadn't really considered buying a new radio, but the more I heard about this one, for the receive quality and some of the features, on top of it being on sale a couple of weeks ago for a price I really didn't want to pass up, I figured why not? Let's add another one to the collection. There's absolutely nothing wrong with my 7300. I love that radio. It's an older radio. The one I have, of course, is only about 4 years old or so. But the ICOM IC7300 has been around for quite some time now, and it's proven its worth over and over again. It's one of the best-selling HF radios that's ever been on the market, and there's definitely reasons for that. It is a proven radio, and it has proven itself. But 2 is 1, 1 is none. That's not really the reason I bought it, but I've heard such good things about this radio that while it was on sale, I figured why not? Let's give it a try. So today we're going to do another video where we kind of harden the radio, so to speak, a little bit so we can take it out in the field for POTA activations and portable operation. I have not decided on a case for this radio yet. I like the Pelican I have for my 7300. But there's something that I've kind of been thinking about for a while now. In Missouri, where I live, during the summer, it can get very hot and humid. Obviously not as bad as some places, and I understand that, but there's times where we can have 80 to 90% humidity and higher, which does not bode well for electronics really of any kind. So I've noticed that when I take the 7300 out with me, I put it in the case in the house, I get it out to the field, and there's a little bit more humidity than I'd like, and it's a little bit hot outside. When I take the radio out of the case, it does get some moisture on it, and I don't like that. It's not caused any problems that I've noticed or any, degradation in the electronics or anything of that sort, but it's probably a matter of time before something happens with circumstances like that. So I'm trying to decide if I want to go with another hard case, maybe some kind of soft case to put this in to carry it around with. I haven't really made up my mind yet. In my mind, it would be better to have something that's a little bit breathable. That way the radio can acclimate to the temperature while it's in the back of my vehicle on the way to wherever I'm going. That way the moisture isn't such an issue when I get to my destination and pull it out of the case. That's kind of going to be my way of thinking for a case for this radio. Whether that thinking is right or wrong, that's kind of what I've settled on. The Pelican case I have for the 7300 is great. It's obviously done its job protecting the radio while it's being transported. No issues there at all, but I do see a problem waiting for a solution, so to speak. So in this video, we are going to put some rails on it and a screen protector. And I'll put a link in the description if you do have a 7300, so you can see the video for the rails and screen protector for the 7300 as well. Which, to my surprise, with me shooting that video off of my cell phone at the time, that's one of my that video has done better than any other video I've ever made, which is shocking to me. But hey, with any video I make, if it helps somebody, if it explains something, if it helps you understand something, or if it puts a product in front of you that may help you the way I've found it to be beneficial and it's helped me, then I feel I've done my job. Any of the products in this video or any of my videos thus far are not sponsored. Nobody sent me these products. These products I am putting on this radio are ones that I've found to work and to be extremely effective. As far as the rails go, there are cheaper options, but I have come to trust these. They're very high quality from Portable Zero, and no issues with them. Very strong, very durable, and there you have it. Now, this is the FT-710 Field model. It is not the one that came with the external speaker, which is kind of disappointing, and let me explain why. If you get the, I believe it's called the AESS model, if you get that model, you get an external speaker with it. If you get the Field model, you get a carry strap. I do not have the carry strap with me. I guess I took it out of the box since I took it out and started getting familiarized with the radio, but let me tell you, the strap that comes with the Field model, I would not trust to carry this radio with. Before I get this video posted, I'll see if I still have it somewhere and I can find it, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Granted, this carry strap feels fairly sturdy. Like the fabric and material does not feel cheap to me. You have a plastic buckle, which that's pretty typical for something like this. I'm not trusting a $1,000 plus radio to this to carry in my hand. I didn't pay that for it. I paid, I think, $8.99. That's still a lot of money. I am not trusting this to carry that radio, because all it would take is for me to be absent-minded, anyone to be absent-minded, because it can happen to anybody. You think everything's fine, everything's tight, and yes, there are better ways you can do this, but I'm just doing this for an example. Everything's fine, everything's good. Slowly this loosens over time. Just spitballing here. You don't notice it. I've had a long day at the park, I've had a long day in the field, it's hot, whatever. You just didn't notice it. You go to pick it up off the table, you're ready to get out of there and pack up, it comes loose. And don't tell me it can't happen, because if it can happen, it will. And your radio's gone, it's on the ground, or over time this gets weathered. Don't call it a Field model and include something like this. The metal clips it comes with, yeah, they seem okay. They're metal. Not much to worry about there. But as far as this strap goes, if I had it to do over again, because I put the rails on the radio anyway, I should have gotten the model that comes with the speaker. And being that I think that's the only difference between the Field model and the AESS model, I would recommend to anybody that's looking at a 710 to go with the model that comes with the speaker. If it's the same price, or heck, even if it's $20, $30, $40, $50 more, depending on how it's priced at the time you're looking at it. Maybe they're priced the same, I don't remember, to be perfectly honest, but you're better off getting the model with the speaker, because I don't know about anybody else, I am not trusting that strap. But I would much rather have the rails on this radio than the strap that comes with the Field model. I wouldn't use it, I wouldn't trust it. Some people might. I'm certainly not going to. But first, before we get into the screen protector and the rails, here's something I hope you really enjoy. Hey all, this is John, KC0JH, and I must be a glutton for punishment because I suffered in the humidity and the heat earlier today in Nebraska, and I'm back in Missouri, but I wasn't very far away anyway. This is the little, well, I say little, it's a full-blown house, but this is the rental house my son and I have for a couple days while we're up here. It's about 10 minutes from the Nebraska line. Not too bad at all, but I figured tonight might be a good night to get the LT-FMJ set up again, and we're going to focus on 40 meters. And I've been saying in the last few videos how I need to test 40 meters and the SWR with the antenna setting a lot lower, so that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to break out my new 710 and see if I can't make a couple of closer contacts with Rob, Whiskey Zero Charlie Yankee Charlie, and my buddy Phil in Zero Papa Lima Hotel. Phil is about 117 miles away-ish, something like that, according to QRZ, with my current location showing in QRZ. And I want to say he was about 117 degrees from my location as well, to the southeast. Rob is 298 miles away, and I believe he was about 144 degrees to my east-southeast. So I've kind of put the NVIS element here in a happy middle of those two bearings to try to direct my signal that way. Now, I am close to power lines and transformers, and there's a Casey's General Store gas station right there. Power lines above me going right through this tree, no less. So I don't know what the RFI and the noise is going to be like in this environment. Hopefully not too bad, but we shall see. And I'm going to check the SWR on this here. Typically with NVIS, lower to the ground is better, and as I've said before, on 40 meters with this antenna set up on the tripod, 40 always has a higher SWR when I have the tripod fully deployed, which is how I typically use it with 20 meters. And in the past, it seems like 40 preferred to be closer to the ground. So we're going to see how this looks and get the radio hooked up and see if we can't get in contact with Phil and Rob. Since I'm only going to be focusing on 40 meters, that's all I'm going to check. Yeah, still a little bit high. Of course, the tuner in the 710 should take care of that with no problem. We'll play around with it some more. I'll do another video and adjust the height a little bit more than I've done here. This is closer to the ground, which is preferred for NVIS. Even though the SWR is a little higher than I'd like, it'll still work just fine. And I may do some future videos where I try and see if I can find the sweet spot for 40 meters on this antenna. Alright, hopefully this comes through okay. Let's go to 7. Ooh, a little noisy. See if we can take some of that out. I've not really played with the display settings or much of anything on this radio yet. I've watched a couple of videos, and it seemed like everybody I saw kind of went towards, I believe his call sign's N4H&H on YouTube for his transmit audio settings. So, I actually made a contact I didn't record from home a couple of nights ago from Slovenia on my new radio here. Let's see, and I had the processor on. Processor level is a 23, mic gain's about 60. And first try I made a contact with a station in Slovenia that was calling CQ. That was pretty cool. So let's see if we can get a little bit more localized and get an audio report from Phil and Rob. Is this frequency in use? Kilo Charlie 0 Juliet Hotel. Is this frequency in use? Kilo Charlie 0 Juliet Hotel. Whiskey 0 Charlie Yankee Charlie. This is Kilo Charlie 0 Juliet Hotel.
Kilo Charlie 0 Juliet Hotel, W0CYC. You're right at my noise level if you can hear me.
I got you pretty loud and clear. I can definitely hear you. You're about a 5'1", 5'2", so you're not too far above the noise level either, but you're fully readable, QSL.
I didn't, hold on. Must have gone wrong. Alright, now I'm back in there. I had a little bit of noise on you there. Try it again, John.
Oh, you jumped up quite a bit. You went from a 5'1" to about a 5'6" on that last.
Yeah, unfortunately I had to activate the tuner just a little bit, so I was losing a lot there. I'm going to have to get up there and trim my wire. Apparently it got pulled long in the last storm, but yeah, I can just barely hear you in there. I probably won't be able to give you a good audio report or anything. You're probably about that, about a 5'1", 5'2".
QSL. Well, that works. At least we can make it work again this time. I've got the antenna setting a lot lower to the ground. I do have the processor on, same settings as the Slovenia station the other night. So we might just have to look for a better day. I've got quite a bit of RFI, it looks like, around me. The band isn't horribly quiet, but it's not bad either.
Hey, QSL, I got a pretty high noise level this evening. I'm running about an S6, S7 on noise tonight, so it's kind of noisy and crackly around over this way. There's some storms to the north of me, so that's probably where I'm getting that from. But yeah, that's fine business, man. Are you running that one that's got the leg on it? And if so, which direction is it headed?
Roger, I am. It's the LT-FMJ, and the NVIS element is running kind of south-southeast. It looks like you were about 144 degrees from this location, and it looks like Phil N0 Papa Lima Hotel is about 117 degrees, so I kind of put it in the middle of both of you.
I caught most of that, John. You completely faded out on me where I completely lost you. I think we lost our ground wave there, if you can still hear me.
Yeah, honestly, it might be ground wave. Yeah, you dropped out a little bit too. You were up there, now you've dropped back out.
No, that time you were a lot better. So, weird propagation tonight.
Oh, it's been like that all day. It was like that on 17 and 20 when I was out in Nebraska earlier. So yeah, seems par for the course here lately.
Yeah, I'd say so. And that's kind of the way that it goes. I don't know. I don't get on HF a whole lot, so you know, at least if I do, it's on high band. I usually don't get down here in the low band.
Yeah, QSL, same with me when I'm on a park activation. 40's just been kind of weird lately. 20's been really weird for the past couple of weeks, it seems like. But yeah, your audio sounds great as usual. I'm recording this, so you'll be able to see what it sounds like even with the band conditions.
Okay, good deal. Cool, man. Yeah, I'll look forward to that. Either send it over to me, or if you're going to post it, just let me know, and then I'll get it checked out there. But all right, man, well, I'll let you get back to it and let you make some contacts and stuff. It'll probably be a little bit easier than trying to get a hold of me here on the other side of the state. But good to hear you, man, and I hope you have fun up there with the boy. That should be a really fun trip up there. So 7-3 for now, KC0JH, W0CYC.
Roger. Yeah, it was fun today. Nope, you and Phil are about the only reason I set this up tonight. I am dripping sweat. The humidity has actually gotten worse. So yeah, I'm gonna see if Phil's on here and then pack it up and head inside for a much needed shower. Whiskey 0 Charlie Yankee Charlie. This is Kilo Charlie 0 Juliet Hotel Portable.
All friend. Well, good to hear you again, and glad we can still make contact all the way from, you're all the way up in the northwestern corner of the state, aren't you?
I am in the very northwest tip. Yes, sir, that is correct. To get from here to the closest Walmart in Nebraska City, I actually cross over into Iowa on I-29 and then hit 2 highway to cut over west into Nebraska. So from here to Walmart, I'm crossing 3 states basically.
0JH in 0 Papa Lima Hotel.
Hey man, that works for you there too. You're in there in 0 Papa Lima Hotel, Kilo Charlie 0 Juliet Hotel. Hey Rob, we'll catch you later, 73. I hope you have a good evening.
Yeah, I thought you guys were already through. Wouldn't have jumped in on top of you there. I think I'm hearing John, but it is really down in the dirt. November 0 Papa Lima Hotel, over to you, KC0JH.
November 0 Papa Lima Hotel. Yeah, you're fully readable, probably about, I wasn't really looking at the meter there, but that's pretty much the same thing Rob said. I'm pretty down in the noise. You're obviously a lot closer than he is. The conditions this evening and for the last couple of days just are not great. Over.
Hotel, November 0 Papa Lima Hotel.
November 0 Papa Lima Hotel, Kilo Charlie 0 Juliet Hotel. Do you copy? November 0 Papa Lima Hotel, Kilo Charlie 0 Juliet Hotel.
Well, I heard both of you in there, but I think he was losing you there, John, because he kind of doubled with you right at the end.
Yeah, it's kind of what I thought. I think he might just be too close for the conditions. He's normally a lot closer anyway because he only lives about 10 to 15 minutes from my actual QTH. Over.
Okay, yeah, that puts him a lot closer, so. All right, John. Well, I'll let you get back to it, man. I appreciate the keep, though. I'm going to go outside and spend a little bit of time out there myself. So, 7-3 for now. KC0JH, W0CYC. See ya.
See, man, have a good evening. 73, don't melt. I don't know about down there. It is not nice up here. I'm going to pack it up and head inside. Kilo Charlie 0 Juliet Hotel with N0 Papa Lima Hotel and Whiskey 0 Charlie Yankee Charlie. I'll be QRT.
See you later, John. W0CYC.
All right, as far as the rails go, these are the portable 0710 Escort model in black. I decided to go with black this time over the OD green because, why not? For the screen protector, this is Boxwave off of Amazon, and this is the exact same brand and type that I have on my 7300. I've had them on the 7300 for quite a while now. I want to say probably about 2 years, somewhere in there. It's one of the first things I put on the radio, and they have definitely proven their value. These aren't horribly expensive. I'll put everything on the screen, and there will of course be a link to the screen protector in the comments. With it on the 7300, I don't notice any fingerprints. I very rarely, if I've ever cleaned the screen off with them on there. The anti-glare when I'm kind of in the sun, in the shade, no matter where I am outside in a conservation area or park operating the radio, I've never had any issues seeing the screen at all unless the sun is just right in the screen. Never an issue. I highly recommend this screen protector. It's come to a point where I can't even tell it's on the radio. Don't even notice it's there, but it is there. And I've seen a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of other hams that I've heard say they're hesitant to take the radio out because they're worried about the screen or something like that. Well, guys, let me tell you, there's a way around that. There are screen protectors for these radios. And from what I've seen, they make these for quite a few rigs. Obviously the 7300, the 710, the IC 9700, they make one for it, and I think they even make one for the FT-891, and I'm sure there's a few others in there that they make them for as well. So as far as a product off of Amazon, which I don't say that to say there's anything wrong with Amazon, but you can get products off of there that are, let's say, less than outstanding and reputable. This does not appear to be one of those. And if this screen protector for the 710 is even 3/4 or a half as good as the one on the 7300, it will be money absolutely well spent. So first we're going to clean the screen off, and we're going to get the screen protector on, and then we'll move on to the rails and wrap it up. So the first step to this is you want to make sure the screen is clean. I've only messed with this radio a couple of times now. As you just saw, that was once, and besides just going through the menus and familiarizing myself with this rig, I've not really had it outside except for yesterday with what you just watched. So there's really no heavy amount of dust or grime or fingerprints on it, but for this type of screen, I like using these Zeiss lens wipes. I use these on my glasses, my cell phone, pretty much anything I have with a screen, and I believe this is what I used on the 7300 when I put the screen protector on it. So I'm going to use this and wipe the screen down. I've got the camera sitting in front of me obviously right now, so I'm going to turn it off for a second and make sure everything's clean and nothing is on the screen, and then we will get into putting the screen protector on and see how it goes and see how it looks. Well, wouldn't you know it, the Zeiss lens wipe was completely unneeded because I just opened the kit and forgot that it comes with an alcohol pad, and it also comes with a thin microfiber cloth. So, just for the sake of a good tutorial video, we're going to go ahead and wipe it down. And now these steps are the same for a screen protector on your cell phone or just about anything else. You don't want any lint or anything on the surface you're going to apply it to, because it just won't do what it's supposed to do. And I apologize for the lighting. My hope was that I could do this up here at the house that my son and I rented for a couple of days while we were on vacation, that the lighting would be a little bit better up here. Definitely not the case in my house. For really no particular reason. I just don't have any type of lighting that would be conducive to shooting indoor videos. And I wanted to try to make this one as good as possible. Alright, I'm gonna do a little closer inspection here. Make sure I don't see anything, and I've got all the lint and everything off of here that I can possibly get. And don't be afraid to take your time. Like, this does not need to be a fast process because you want to make sure you get this done right. You do get 2 screen protectors, so if you horribly mess one up, you have a backup that you can work with. I also believe that I read on here that if you pull the screen protector off and rinse it with warm soapy water, it will reactivate the adhesive, so that's something to keep in mind too. And they do say on the screen protector, if this does not fit your screen properly, please email us, and it gives the email address with a picture of the protector on the device, and they will resolve it. So they lay this out very well. Step 1, remove me. And then step 2 on the back, it tells you to remove that side of it. There's also a piece of blue film that they send that has adhesive on the back of it. And this is what you can use to put on the screen to pull dust and other particles off of the glass to make sure you have everything completely cleaned off. All right, that looks good. So it would appear that step 1 is going to be the adhesive side. So we're going to remove the step 1 side so we can try not to touch any of the adhesive. And as best as I can, I'm going to, and the adhesive's not that strong really to begin with, so if you do find you've got it crooked or something, pulling it off to readjust is not a huge issue at all. I'm going to get that in all the corners as best as I can. And I've got air bubbles. Of course I do. All right, well, you get the general idea. I'm gonna focus more on putting this on and less on recording it, and I'll be right back. All right, the screen protector is on there. There's a little spot up at the top of the screen right there where it looks like some lint got trapped under it. The screen was clean when I looked at it again. I went ahead and reapplied, re-cleaned the screen and everything. So likely when I pulled the film off of the screen protector, there was probably a piece of lint floating around that just happened to get caught. But hopefully in the video you can tell that it is on there. You should be able to see the seam up here in the top, and maybe down here a little bit at the bottom too, where it's setting on the screen. And it looks like there might be an air bubble in there. All right, let's see what it looks like with it on. And if I sound tired, there is a very good reason for that. It's about 11:30 at the time of recording this at night, and I wanted to wait until my son was in bed and fast asleep. It was really hot and nasty outside today up here in the northwest corner of Missouri, so we just stayed in and watched TV and snacked and did father-son things together. So there you have it with the radio on. With the radio on, you can't even tell there's a screen protector on there. I can't. And it's the same with the 7300. And I just have the radio turned on. There's no antenna hooked up to it or anything like that. I just wanted to turn the radio on so you could kind of get a visual of it with the screen protector installed. Hopefully you can't tell a difference. Maybe you can. Of course, yesterday when I had this on without the screen protector, it was outside. The lighting was going to be different, but I mean, it does not impair your ability to see the screen or use the radio whatsoever. And if this is anything like the 7300 with the same screen protector, same brand, everything, it will not impair your ability to use the touch screen either. All right, on to the rails. All right, so why do I like running rails on my radios? Well, there's a very simple explanation for that, and I'm sure it's probably nothing that needs explained, but if say you're outside operating and it starts raining out of nowhere on you, you're going to be in a hurry, scrambling to try to get your radio under cover if it isn't already. And, you know, grabbing a radio with one hand, obviously that would not be the best move because you could easily drop it, you know, pick it up with two hands, whatever. These are boxy machines. They're light, I'll give them that, but there's really nothing to grab onto in a hurry on a radio like this. And you certainly don't want to use the stand underneath as a handle of any type. So that's why I like the rails, because whether you're in a hurry or you're not in a hurry, whatever the case may be, instead of wrapping your hands around the radio and making sure you've got a good solid purchase on the radio and all that, these radios and the equipment we use in ham radio is not cheap. And for some, that's obviously an understatement. There's some that's ridiculously expensive. But you want to protect your investment, absolutely. So that's why I like running rails on my radios so much. And on the first video I did with the Portable Zero rails on the 7300, I got a couple of comments saying, oh, that looks ridiculous. Well, okay, fine. Number one, I guess it's a good thing it's my radio and not yours. And number two, I don't care how ridiculous it looks or how silly it looks. I think it looks good. I think it adds some kind of aesthetic value to the radio, but it's more the function that concerns me over how it makes the radio look. I don't think some people that have access to a keyboard really think before they commence to typing sometimes. But hey, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I will not argue that. So with the kit, of course, you get screws and you get these little pads that go underneath the rails against the metal of the rail and your radio. That way it doesn't scratch any of the metal. And that's why I go with Portable Zero. They're, like I said, a little bit pricey compared to some other options that you can find on, say, eBay, Etsy, Amazon, what have you. But these are good quality, solidly made rails. And they like taking into account details like that. Like, yeah, the rails are going to be covering up part of the radio where you install them, but they also want to make sure that nothing scratches the radio in case you want to take them off, sell the radio, whatever the case may be. They tend to take the finer details into account, and it certainly shows in their packaging, it shows on their website, it shows in their quality. And it shows on the receipt that they send with the rails when you order them, because they leave a handwritten thank you on your receipt, which is very rare to see these days. And it's a nice touch. And to me, that's definitely worth paying a little bit more for. So with that said, I am going to get these rails on the radio. With the reaction I saw to my cooking video, which did not go over very well. And I'm not even going to tell you to go watch it. That's purely up to you. It's not hard to find. It's when I was in Arkansas. But based on that video, I'm going to save you all the trouble and the such as from watching me screw something. I'll be back. And if you are not familiar with rails like this or accessories like this for your radio, I will go ahead and point out that these rails from Portable Zero, and I would imagine the others that are available on the market, do utilize the existing holes. These aren't something you glue on or strap on or have to do any unnecessary modifications with. And here's a little bit of a side-by-side comparison with the 710 versus the 7300. The 7300, the rails for the 7300 had 4 holes and came with 8 screws, 4 for each side. The 7300 is not that much bigger than the 710, but there is a noticeable difference there in the height on the side of the radio. The 710 is definitely smaller in height. It's a little bit thinner. Overall, there's not a whole lot of difference there. But I did want to point out the 7300 takes 4 screws on both sides. Even though it looks like the rail for the 710 is drilled for 6, it has 6 holes on each rail. It will only use the 2 available holes on the side of the radio. We're going to use the center holes there on the rail for the 710, and in the instructions it points out to use the rubber pads on the other holes that we will not be using. That way it puts some protection between the metal on the rail and the metal on the radio. So I'll get these mounted up and I'll be back. And we're all done. There you go. That's really all there is to it. This whole thing took me, obviously I've been recording and moving the camera around and trying to make this to where I could film it and hopefully make it turn out okay. But the whole thing really, 15, 20 minutes and you're done. The screen protector is obviously the biggest headache with this whole operation. Just trying to get it lined up right on the screen. And it may take you a couple of tries, but in the long run, especially if you plan on taking your expensive radio out into the field, I wouldn't take one out without a screen protector on it, just because you never know, things happen. You can move something around on your picnic table or your table you brought with you and bump the screen. Accidents and things happen. So I would rather have all the protection I can get on it than nothing at all. And right here, as I was talking about having to move the radio around in a hurry or pick it up, this is something I definitely would not do with the strap, quote unquote, carry strap that came with the 710. Oh no, it started raining. Oh, off we go. That is why I choose to use these rails on my radios, is because they're tough, they seem extremely well made, extremely durable. And I've found that with the rubber pads that go on the back side, before you screw them down to the radio, whether or not it really has anything directly to do with it or how it was designed or not, I have not had a single screw come loose on the rails on the 7300, and I pick it up and move it around like that all the time. It gives you a lot better grip on the radio. It gives you a lot better places to grip on the radio. And you don't even have to be in a hurry. Say you're packing up and you're ready to go. Okay, fine. Here we go. Radio's in one hand. I can carry something in the other and head back to the vehicle, get everything packed up, and leave for the day. Very handy, and I can't recommend the Portable Zero rails enough, especially for the 7300, because that is what I've had them on, obviously, the longest. It just makes moving the radio and handling it and carrying it so much easier. And they sell 2 different kinds, 2 different designs of the rails. You have the flared. Let me move the camera here a little bit. Try to get a top view here. Portable Zero does have 2 different designs for each set of rails for each radio. And what I mean by that is these are the flared. They kind of flare out on the sides and the front of the radio. And they also have a straight version. I went with the flared on both the 710 and the 7300 because to me it looked like I could get, on the 710, I could get to the volume knob and the gain knob a little bit easier. You can always go kind of around the rail and operate it like that, but I just thought the flared rails would be a little bit better. That's just my preference and opinion. Definitely thought that would be the case with the VFO on the 7300, because I felt like if the rails on this one were straight instead of the flared, that might be a little bit cumbersome. That's really the only reason I chose the flared on both. Your opinion and your outlook on that might be different, and your preference, and that's perfectly fine. That's why they make both the flared and the straight. So there you have it. There's the screen protector for the new Yaesu FT-710 Field, as well as a look at the rails that I've had on the 7300 for quite a while now. And I'll also see if I can move this. Yes, I use my phone a lot while I'm making videos just to make sure everything looks good on the screen. There's an app. I don't know if GoPro has the same setup or not, but with the DJI cameras, they've got an app that you can basically control the camera with, and it's a very handy thing, I think. I like using it that way. So let me see if I can go down here. It also helps immensely because I have the, just to save battery, I have the settings on the camera set to where they will shut off the front and rear screen on the camera after so long. So being able to look at the camera through my phone, oh wow. That's freaky looking. Anyway, squirrel moment. So far I really like this DJI Osmo 4 action camera I've got. Now that I've gotten used to it and figured a lot of the settings out and how I like using it. But that's not what we're here for. So there's a screen protector on the 7300 and the rails. There's the screen protector and the rails for the FT-710. And we'll give you kind of a side-by-side here. Just in case you're in the market and you're kind of looking at both radios, which they're, in some ways, they're pretty comparable. I've noticed a lot of comparisons between these two radios. So there's kind of the size difference in the front. And you saw the kind of the side view. Let me readjust here again and see if I can get a better top view. Probably can't tell a whole lot of difference there, and that's because there's really not. The 7300 is a little bit wider. You may not be able to tell that on camera than the 710, but boy, it's not by much. It's not by much at all. And as far as the depth, they're very, very close in depth too. Mainly it is just the height on both radios that is the difference. The 7300 is definitely higher, it is taller, and the 710 is shorter. That's all I've got for this video. I hope you got something out of it and I didn't totally foobar the whole thing up. Probably could have done this in the morning with some sleep under my belt. But in ham radio, it's all about experimentation and finding what works and seeing what doesn't, and shooting videos and installing things on radios when you're already exhausted to begin with is not, probably not the best way to go. So lesson learned. Well, that's all I've got for you on this one. Hopefully you got something out of this and gave you some ideas and maybe some things to help you protect your radio, whether it's parks on the air or just going out to use the radio portable. Both of these radios seem to be very good options. Obviously, I have a lot more experience with the 7300. That is the radio that I have done the majority of, actually I've done all of my activations with the 7300, with exception of one video where I used my 857 a while back. So I really don't have a good comparison yet, or a good use of the 710 to be able to make a good comparison. So far the 710 seems fine. I will say at first glance and first use of the 710, I'm gonna go ahead and say right now that the 7300 is a lot more user-friendly and intuitive in its menus and controls than the 710. That opinion may change. I've heard people with the opposite opinion that think the 710 is easier to use and more intuitive. I'm going to lean towards the 7300 for now, but like I said, that could be a bit biased because I'm used to the menus and used to using this radio. That may change. I may end up finding that the 710 is easier. But that's kind of my thoughts on it right now. I'm going to use them both. I'm primarily going to start taking the 710 out in the field with me for Parks on the Air activations. That way I can get some experience on it, and eventually when I feel I have enough with both radios that I can give a good, simple, yet explanatory opinion on which one I think is better, I'll definitely make a video and give my thoughts and opinions on both and which one I like better, which one I think is a good beginner radio, and which one I think may be better for a more experienced ham radio operator. Thanks for watching another one. I greatly appreciate it as always, and I promise next time I will do one of these videos with some more sleep. Hopefully I didn't mess it up too bad and you got something out of it. 73.